Welcome to the Furloko Podcast.
Where crazy fluff butts talk about stuff and things.
And maybe some things you might wish you never heard of.
With your hosts,
DJ Fur3.
Fox 18. And we've got a special guest today. They go by Arctic the Omega on here. They're a sweet bean. I want to apologize. The last episode we filmed was supposed to go out the week of Halloween. I had surgery on the 26th, though, of October, so literally right before Halloween. It was an outpatient procedure. I thought it would be okay, but given the location of the surgery, I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't even sit up hardly for more than just a few minutes at a time. I was sleeping, laying down. And our editor needed some questions answered about how to format a few things and what needed cut, what needed spliced here and there. And I wasn't able to answer those questions, and DJ wasn't able to for a while. So it's getting posted late. So if you were wondering why that video was late, that's why. But we're going to kind of continue on with that today. We're still going to talk about food and a little bit of holiday traditions here in the States. For those of you in the States, you know it's coming up on Thanksgiving here soon.
Nope. The holiday of hiding away food and it being perfectly okay to be fat.
Right? I swear I always gain a lot of weight during the holidays.
I always gain weight a lot of the time.
Hey, I'm on the seafood diet. I see food and I eat it. I love food. I live to eat.
That's the fat person diet. Give me some paw.
I'm a foodie for sure. What about you?
I have stretch marks to prove it.
I have stretch marks for other
Eat
reasons.
food, get into a food coma for about the rest of the day. You just can't feel like you need to eat, and then like 3 hours later, you're hungry, so you're going after the dinner rolls again.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, speaking of Thanksgiving, do you guys do anything special for the Thanksgiving holiday or anything here?
Honestly, I don't really... I mean, if we do, I always forget. I don't have good memory. And that's been evident given some of our recordings. But anyways, or lack of.
Right.
So, but anyways, I don't really know of any particular traditions. With a joke that I was making earlier with Arctic before recording was, if we were to say traditions as in like a personal tradition kind of thing, it's more of a, if we happen to make, like deviled eggs and stuff.
Oh, yes.
My tradition, I mean, my family doesn't like it, but my tradition is to eat like about a dozen or two deviled eggs.
Evacuate.
And then hide in my room and give everybody a warning to stay away. Otherwise, they'll die.
Gas.
A previous year, I did that. I had my fan in my window. And so what I always joke with Werefouts about on like just separate times is, so everybody knows, if you don't, you will now. Everybody knows, or should know, that whatever you produce, it smells worse for everyone else around you. So when it smells fine for you,
we're back on this
disgusting
again.
for everyone else. But if it's horrible for you, it's absolutely horrendous for everyone else. Now, to put that emphasis down, a few years ago, I had my fan in my window, my door shut, fan was on full, blowing
You're
air
evil.
out. And I, one year, gassed myself out of my room.
Oh no.
Because
That's
of
pretty
deviled
bad.
eggs
No,
and
that'll do it.
stuffing and
I think the only thing worse than deviled eggs
like
are
everything.
pickled eggs. That.
Hmm.
Oh,
I haven't had a pickled egg yet. I don't believe.
they're okay. They're not bad. I like you want to see a horrible demonstration of weaponized flatulence. Deviled eggs or pickled eggs with pickled sausage and sauerkraut or kimchi. That's a
Oof.
bad time waiting to happen. For all parties involved.
For,
And I can't believe we're on this topic again. I mean,
pasta.
what has this podcast evolved into? Just toilet humor now?
Hey.
Oh goodness.
I've said it earlier with the hashtag at the previous episode, which I won't say because that should be the proof that you guys watched it all the way. So you'll know, but that's why. It's because it's come back to that.
Truth. Goodness. So, when it comes to Thanksgiving, though, like what are your favorite foods? Like, what foods do you really enjoy? What part of this holiday do you like the most?
About to say not hosting, but most of the time I am hosting, so that means you got to clean the house. I do not enjoy that at all.
I don't think anyone
I
does.
enjoy.
Nope. I have my organized chaos, and that's it.
I'm more of an introvert, so I tend to try to avoid family gatherings. But if I have to be there, I'm there, and I just kind of just sitting against the wall, just watching the chaos unfold.
That's kind of how I used to be. Like seriously. Most of my family was a bunch of insane people. Anyway.
That or I'm the one tasked with babysitting all the younger kids.
Oh god, I always
That's a
hated that.
nightmare as well.
No, that's a
You
mood.
get busy in the house and you help with food prep, or you're dealing with the kids.
Hey, the food prep I enjoyed. I always loved cooking, so I was always more than happy to be in the kitchen.
Well,
yeah, especially if you are the cook.
Get to sample everything.
At least for me, my mother, grandmothers, aunt, they all get in the kitchen. It's a war. I don't want to be in there.
Understandable.
Well, yeah.
Be flying spoons and spatulas.
My grandmother always did a lot of the holiday
having
cooking.
a war amongst themselves, I don't want to be in the crossfire.
Fair.
Because I already don't know what I'm doing most of the time.
I'll just sit there and play on my phone and not pay attention to the kids anyways.
Good job.
I keep an eye on them. There's not much around, so...
No, that's fair.
Give them a ball. Here you go. Here's a ball. Go toss it back and forth to each other. Just fair warning if it's the ground. Good luck getting it from the dogs.
What kind of dogs you got? Just
got a
muds?
good dog, German Shepherd, Australian Shepherd. He's black with a white stripe. Beautiful dog, really smart. He's only found a skunk once, thankfully. The other one is a giant pain in the butt, Mutt. We actually got a DNA test on him because we weren't quite sure on what he had, and something in the DNA test said super mutt because he was just a hybrid of everything. He was just a super mutt, and it explains him perfectly because that dog has ADHD. He's got the zoomies. Anytime water hose, garden hose, anything of water related is out and about, he wants to go play in it. He
Fair.
I think that's all
built
dogs.
like an absolute tank.
Oh yeah.
And he was named Milo, meaning small.
And he's not small.
No,
the irony in that name.
He's a miniature hippo. He's a miniature hippo.
Mhm. Oh,
Daddy
goodness.
likes to find skunks.
Well, what is your favorite food that you look forward to during that time of year?
Honestly, the rolls.
Hey, I can get behind that. Rolls are good. Rolls are really good.
If done right with good butter, the rolls are great. Because turkey, depends on who's cooking it, it's usually always dry, and dry turkey is bleh. Because it's dry. Ham, that's more of a later holiday.
Understandable.
Stuffing, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. The way the family makes it.
I'll be
Deviled eggs,
honest with
same
you.
way.
I love deviled eggs, but I've never been a fan of stuffing or dressing. I just never cared for it. What about you?
Well, I'll just get this out of the way. The fat person in me, which is all of it, is my favorite. Because it gets me full and it puts me in a food coma. I think a legit reason
For a couple hours at least.
to be asleep when you're not supposed to.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh
the
yeah.
reason. But if I have to pick favorites, I think my top 4 would be Brussels sprouts
Those are good.
and asparagus with hollandaise.
Oh, I love asparagus, especially grilled asparagus. Oh my goodness. And Brussels
With
sprouts.
hollandaise. Can't forget that.
Okay. I just like mine buttered and salted personally.
And then stuffing is, for me, I believe it has the most flavor. And then the weapon of ass destruction, deviled eggs.
You're not wrong though. Actually, deviled eggs used to be one of my favorite parts of the holidays. Like I said, we talked a little bit in one of our other food videos about how deviled eggs are traditionally made with like mayo, mustard, and paprika. Typically smoked paprika. Sometimes people put like a little bit of pickle or relish in it. But my grandmother always made hers sweet. She would use Miracle Whip to sweeten it. We'd still add the mustard to give it that little bit of a zing or tartness. And we'd also add like sweet relish. But we'd still put the smoked paprika on there. They were freaking delicious. And don't get me wrong, I like deviled eggs anywhere. But eggs don't love me. But the Miracle Whip ones were really sweet. It was surprisingly good, and that's just what I grew up on. So that's what I was always used to. And it was always weird going to like restaurants or other places that had them. They wouldn't be sweet. I'm like, huh, they're still good, but it's different. That was my mother's mother that made them like that. My dad's mother didn't make deviled eggs a lot, but when she did it more the traditional way. Typically, what she would make, she'd always have a turkey loaf. So instead of being like a whole turkey, she was low income and had a lot of health problems. So she did what was easier. So she'd always have like a turkey loaf where it's like pressed turkey, still really good, made great sandwiches. And then she would always make her homemade, sort of like bread and butter pickles, but not quite. But they were basically like cucumbers and onions and vinegar, and they were really good. And then she would also sometimes make other little things to go with it. Usually it was like just cheese dip, other little things and snacks to go with it. Because she also took care of my aunt who was mentally disabled. So that's why she never did a whole lot. But that was our traditional Thanksgiving over at her house. My mom's mother, it was always either turkey and or ham, stuffing, and then of course deviled eggs, sometimes 7-layer salad, baked beans, sometimes mashed potatoes or potato salad. So always look forward to it every year. The rolls were always good. I used to love taking the turkey and slices of cheese and making like little sandwiches on the rolls. So good.
Well, for me, for the rolls, what we do is instead of just a regular roll itself, we put I don't think it's a cupcake pan, but it could be. We usually do like a cupcake pan, but we put 2 rolls in each spot. So when the rolls cook, you got 2 bumps, but you can just tear the bread apart. You don't have to use a knife or anything to cut it.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people like to spread butter. Well,
Oh,
having
yes.
to cut the roll open anyways to put butter in it. That way you can just spread it open and you don't have to worry about any kind of...
Definitely. And real butter's the way to go. The margarine just tastes so blah. That's just me, though. Ooh, honey butter on a roll. Good honey butter on a roll. Yum.
Butter like garlic butter.
Ooh, that's good too.
Of course. I know some people, not me, but some people like to deep fry their turkeys. But with my line of work, that could be dangerous.
Oh, yes.
And it might mean I might not be at Thanksgiving dinner. I might be at someone else's Thanksgiving dinner putting out a disaster.
The joys of working as a firefighter or any first responder, right?
Of course. Around the holidays, it's always nightmare season. At Christmas, well, not really Christmas, but the winter season is a nightmare as well. Christmas, you have lighting fires with people plugging in too many electricals. You got tree fires from lights on trees that didn't go right. False fires when someone's smoking a barbecue in their backyard and someone calls it in thinking their house is on fire.
Yeah, that happens a lot, especially considering I
that a lot.
have one of those old traditional kettle smokers, and there's always a lot of steam and smoke that comes off of that. Because I do a lot of slow smoking of meats, making jerky and stuff during the holidays. So, yeah, and I can see how people would mistake that for a fire because it is just a lot of smoke. Especially when you open the doors to go check everything, there's that big plume. Oh, yeah.
Before you call 911, stop and sniff. Does it smell like barbecue or smoked foods? Or does it smell like trash?
Or you could be like one of my friends that doesn't have a sense of smell at all, and so he just has to guess. But he has enough sense to go, look, oh, they're barbecuing. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, just peek over the fence. Be the one creepy neighbor and just make sure.
Oh, it was even worse.
I can say from experience.
Because I also had a forge for a while.
I actually had I had a fire on December 25th. It came out around 11 o'clock or so. It came out, for me, I get tones on my phone because I'm at home. It came out house fire. And it's like, I don't know. I ran, grabbed my gear, got into my vehicle, started taking off down to the station, listened to the radio, and got like 10 other guys all saying, hey, we're on our way to the station. We got one person that's, hey, I'm just going to swing by the scene because it's on the way to the station. They stopped there and, something smells good. You can disregard everyone. Someone's just barbecuing.
Oh, man.
No need to get the trucks out.
Lord.
It happens more often than you think, but...
Yes, it happens, but thankfully it wasn't a fire where someone lost their house on Christmas.
And unfortunately, that happened down the street of me.
Devastated.
Just a couple of days ago. Well, I guess it's been about a week ago now. A little house about 2 blocks away from me, their whole garage is gutted. Part of the roof is missing. Something caught fire in their garage, probably either lawn equipment or maybe the water heater, because the houses in this area were built in the 70s, so a lot of them had the water heater in the garage. So if they had a gas can stored there, it could have built up, and when the pilot light reignited or whatever, it could have ignited the vapors. You never know. I mean, weird things happen all the time, but it's still a shame because it's before the holidays, and they're pretty much having to live out of that home, even though it's not really safe to do so because they can't afford to go anywhere else, and they're waiting. I feel for them. I really do. And a lot of neighbors have been pitching in to help them at least. Yeah, but the neighborhood has been helping them out a lot, it looks like. And So that's good.
But at least it's in a decent, friendly neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. For those of you listening,
Hit the mute button on accident. Sorry about that.
because the seasons are right around the corner, if you do not know how to drive in bad road conditions, whether it's snowy, slush, ice, please stay off the roads and stay safe. It's a bad season, especially for
It is.
first responders, because we got to go to so many calls and everything because people
Especially-
just don't know what they're doing.
Especially anything north, the northern states. From like Arkansas north, we get a lot of snow up here. I mean, it snows down around Texas and stuff sometimes, especially in the northern parts like Dallas and all that. But it's not as common as it is up north. But
Ice is the issue.
that's what's bad. Is right here. I'm in the southern part of Missouri, and it goes either way. We either get rain, or we get snow, or we get a wintry mix, which is just a nice, wonderful, icy
Slush.
mess for everybody to drive in, and nothing. Doesn't matter if you have 4-wheel drive. You're gonna end up in a ditch eventually because it's just a glaze. It's never fun.
When I was growing up and still in school, in high school, I actually moved out of town, but because it was my senior year, the school let me be just out of town student, which 30-minute drive every day, just one way is a pain. But one day it was 6 in the morning. It was just slushy on the ground, where it's like no big deal.
Sorry.
The school person that's in charge of all the schools and stuff, I forgot their name, well, their role, whatever it is. They went out, they were like, yeah, we'll keep school going. And about 30 minutes later, everything completely froze. I was already driving there. Highways were about 20 miles an hour, wrecks like every 2 miles. And it was just chaotic and a nightmare. And by the time I got to the school, they went ahead and changed it where school's canceled. However, for everyone that showed up to school, it's still mandated unless you get called out by your parent, which awful. It's like, seriously, I could have stayed home today.
That's not even remotely fair.
No, it's not.
No, it wasn't.
Anyone else? You need to stay home. But, well, the people who made it here, you're stuck here. Like,
that's pretty much what it was. But it wasn't off your record or anything because we had a tardy absent policy where if you missed the class absent-wise for 10 days without reasons, your class would no longer be counted, and you would have to retake the class. You would automatically fail the course. Where every 3 tardies would count to 1 absence. It was stupid, but I can understand why, because they wanted to stop people playing hooky.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, hey, if they're playing hooky and passing the class, okay,
It's like me, and
they're at least passing the class.
doesn't mean you should do what I did in school, but
in class. Because my brain was just everywhere else. But I got good grades on the tests. I just didn't do the homework, and
that's how I was too.
that was it.
I used to get.
As soon as I found out that, hey, if we could leave the school, I was already sending my dad a text, hey, get me out of here. I don't want to be here any longer. And
No, that's the mood.
About an hour later, he showed up to pick me up because he went with me because that was the first time I went in like very not great weather where I was still learning. Still understanding how ice and snow operates and all that, get a better understanding on it. So he was with me just in case I started messing up or something. He could help guide me continuing.
Makes
so I didn't have a vehicle to just leave. So
That
he came and
reminds me
picked me
of
up in a
the,
bigger SUV, and it's like, oh, why'd you bring this vehicle? Oh, we gotta stop at the storage unit nearby and grab some snow removal equipment. It's like, oh, wonderful.
That reminds me of
shovel
the
snow all day.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. But like I was saying, like when I was in school, I didn't do half of my assignments. I just didn't care. I was one of those people that could see something like once or twice and know it. So I would always have at least an 80 on every test. So B's are higher.
Yep.
And my teachers would always complain, and I'd get in so much trouble for not doing my homework. But when I was at home, I wanted time to myself. I didn't want to be sitting there doing something that I already knew how to do over and over and over again. It was just, to me, a waste of time. Why should I be punished because other people didn't understand it? It's like, I don't know. I felt like I was just wasting my time, and I could be doing something better with it, but that's just me. Back on the travel situation, though, a lot of people travel during the holidays or this time of year in general here in the U.S. And one thing to remember is, like, during bad weather, slow down. There's no need to be in a hurry. If you're running late, you're better to arrive late than to never arrive at all. And I mean that.
That is very true.
It's not worth getting in an accident or even potentially killed because you're trying to make up that lost time. I mean, it's just not worth it. Just show up late. People will understand. If they don't, then they're not good people anyway.
You probably shouldn't be working there in the first place.
Exactly.
Put in your 2-week notice, find another job.
I mean,
find another job and then put in your 2-week notice.
I mean,
if you got an awesome boss that's chill,
people need to understand that you can't control the weather. So, nature will be nature.
You get some people who are big egos that think you have control of everything in your life.
True. But yeah,
like
just
absolutely everything. Nature, weather, fucking time of day. If you have a car issue that happens unexpectedly, yep, it's your fault. It's just like, yeah, you can go find someone else then.
Yeah. But yeah, like, seriously, in bad weather, just slow down, give yourself a little extra time. Typically, in real heavy rain, drive a little slower, like maybe 10 under the speed limit. Just give yourself a little more braking time. In snow and ice, don't go any faster than you feel you can safely stop. Just because the speed limit's there doesn't mean that you can do that in all conditions, No. There's been times that I was on the interstate doing 35 because it was just so snow covered. That's as fast as we could safely go, and even that was still a little rough. And I had 4-wheel drive with chains, and give more space between vehicles too, because if an accident does happen, you don't want to hit that other vehicle. You'd rather have a chance to regain control, maybe exit the road safely. Any buffer you can put. Yeah. Anyway, we're not your parents. I'm just saying, it helps. It helps.
We could complain about a lot of things in the safety conditions of people driving, and
we just want to see people. We just want to see people be okay and make it to their destination safely.
It's gonna go in one ear, out the other.
For some people, but you never know.
A lot of people that believe that they own the road.
True.
Yeah. There's a couple of other things you can keep an eye on. If it's really raining, the rain's really coming down and you can't really see anything, you can pull over. Even if you're on the highway, just pull over to the side of the highway, turn your hazards on, and wait for it to calm down.
That's
just because
actually what my driving teacher taught me.
This is true. I've had to do that.
My driving teacher taught me that if it's raining really hard and you got those wipers on full blast and you are still having trouble seeing, no matter where you are, what you're doing, pull over and let it calm down.
I've had to do that a lot.
Your safety and your life is more important than you in a wreck somewhere, having to have emergency traffic trying to get to you.
I may be a storm chaser and I may be used to conditions like that, but there are times you just cannot see and it's just not worth moving.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're better off just finding a little bit of shelter and hope for it to pass soon and, move on. But
that also means don't chase tornadoes.
That was actually what I was paid to do for a long time.
That reminds me of a story
Don't do it.
One of my buddies. He recently, at the time, this happened like a while ago, but at the time he got it from the junkyard for like $200-$300 and restored it to be able to drive.
Oh, okay.
A 93 Ford Mustang box body.
Oh, that was the last of the box bodies then.
Yeah. And his had a sunroof. Now, it started raining real heavy. He was driving back home, and that sunroof...
Oh, that poor car.
He had to pull into a gas station and hide under the awning because there was a big fucking hole in his roof.
At least he didn't have to shower when he got home.
Yeah, that
I feel
poor
bad
car,
for
though.
him. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if he's watching this, you know who you are. I love you. But you gotta admit, it was funny as hell.
The latches on the sunroof just failed?
No, it's just a seal. It doesn't pop open or anything. It's just sealed on there.
Oh.
So the entire top glass just went... Goodbye.
Wow. Huh.
Like, I feel bad for him, but that was, at the time...
Oh, another
I mean, that's the thing. It's a bad thing to do. I don't encourage it. But everybody knows that you laugh at someone else's misery at least once.
I think we've all been guilty of it.
I
feel so bad. Yes.
The fact that you're laughing right now
Yes.
says you are guilty as charged.
I'm laughing because they're laughing.
Ah.
You can't tell me that at least once. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah, we all have.
Duh, I just told you.
I think we've all laughed at someone's misery before. I feel so bad about it, but
here's the thing. When it's one of your best friends, it's different. It's okay.
Okay, so
oh shit.
the only reason why I started laughing like that is because I had this friend and I picked him up for school because he was on the way to school. I'd pick him up and take him to school because, hey, I know him, we're really close, we grew up together. Well, one day he forgot his keys for his house.
Oh no. Oh no.
His window was unlocked, and he knew his window was unlocked. So he opened up his window and tried to climb in, but he got stuck hanging there for a minute, trying to get the rest of his body in there. It's like, don't worry, I got you covered. I pulled out my phone and took a picture and started recording. I'm like, don't worry if any of your neighbors ask, just he's breaking into his own house. Don't worry too much about it.
yeah.
Oh shit.
I had to. It was fucking gold. And then as soon as he opened the house, I showed him the picture and showed him the video, and he just busted up laughing as well. He's like, just send me that picture. I want that picture.
I've locked my keys in my truck in the past and had to break in that way, and just you always have those people that are just eyeballing you thinking you're trying to steal the truck or something, even though it's yours. They see you up in there with a clothes hanger or whatever, trying to get in there.
It's even funnier when a cop pulls up. Hey, you doing okay? What are you trying to do? I'm trying to get into my truck. Are you sure it's your truck? Yeah, my wallet and keys are right there.
Yep.
They don't believe you, of course, and then as soon as you open it, they're like, okay, we're gonna detain you and double check and make sure you're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's authority first, questions later.
I actually won a lawsuit for unlawful detainment for a similar reason. Because even after I proved it was mine and who I was, they wouldn't leave me alone. They still wanted to search the vehicle and everything, and I kept refusing. It's like, no, you have no probable cause, you have no warrant. You're not searching it.
Yep. And
Some cops out there are just rude and just they need to open their eyes. Other cops, they're really chill and cool with you.
Oh, most of them are actually.
No clue. You both probably know who I'm about to name, and a lot of you viewers probably know Gabriel Iglesias.
Oh, he's awesome guy.
He said a couple different little short stories. If you haven't seen them, I highly recommend you go and
definitely, he's
check
hilarious.
Stuff, either on YouTube and stuff.
And he's a sweet guy. He really is.
There's two of them that he's talked about. One with him traveling with a group of his guys, where he was in like a big SUV, and then another one when he was in one of his little Volkswagens, and he left the donut shop.
Oh, I remember that story.
Yeah.
And funniest part is if you see the right episode. Well, the donut one was the first one, and then the SUV was the second one. If you listen carefully to the second one, the cop talks about how he heard a funny story about one of his buddies pulled over someone after they pulled out of the donut shop, and they gave him donuts. And the thing was,
there's some continuity between the stories.
Mm-hmm. So I highly recommend going and checking him out. He is hilarious to listen to. Oh yeah. The second one,
I love it.
You know when I pulled you over?
You can smell it.
You can smell it. God damn it.
The second one. Oh, I don't know if it's the first one or second one. One of the cops, the way
his voices are fucking amazing.
Oh, I know.
Was one of the cops apparently was almost peed themselves. They were laughing so hard.
One of the funniest stories that I remember from
chocolate cake.
No, the racist gift basket.
Oh my goodness, yes. Just go and watch Gabriel Iglesias. It's great. His stuff is hilarious.
He is amazing. But if I had, besides the top stories, if I had to recommend one and only one to like
the gift basket is great.
Him to anyone, it would be the racist gift basket.
Gift basket is great. Yeah.
Because the voices that he does for the motel owner or receptionist.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
He almost puts it down to a T because I've had some experience.
Yeah.
There's several episodes that are really great. Like the one where
all of them are.
His bus gets pulled over by like border patrol or something.
Oh, yeah.
One of the border agents is Mexican.
Oh, I remember that. I remember seeing that recently, actually.
Yeah, and like, okay,
shit.
who's the one like having the bus running? And I mean, you could Gabriel's face was on the bus, like it was one of the show buses. And it's like,
who owns this?
What do you think?
It's just a lot of that.
There's a big tubby guy standing in front of you. There's a big tubby guy on the bus. I wonder who owns it.
And then one part of the episode, they had all of them put their like hands on the bus, because they were searching the bus or like searching them, making sure they didn't have any paraphernalia or weapons or anything on them. And the bus driver was the one that took the picture.
Oh yeah, I remember because
They
they
didn't care
showed
about
that.
the bus driver. They only cared about the ones that were riding the bus.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh,
fun
shit.
episodes.
Oh, it is. I highly recommend it. So,
If I had to introduce someone else, because I want to show you if you've never seen them, but they're like their YouTube name is I'm Brandon Ferris, and I'm just hands down, like he is. I'm saying this as nice as possible. He is an ADHD crack baby.
okay, now I'm curious.
He does stupid shit.
Uh,
Like I have 4 videos saved that I can show you later.
sound like me
but
back in college. Yeah.
Every single video of his has killed me from laughter.
Fair enough. Oh, but
So good. Back to topic.
Videos are good.
oh, I know. So
Sometimes you
We
just
all
need
have
to
our-
stop, relax, and just watch some comedy.
truth, legitimate truth. So we all
later.
have our traditions, so to speak, for holidays. Do you ever break tradition
Eating a
though
bunch of food.
and do something different?
Like I said, my tradition is eating food till I get into a food coma and eating all the deviled eggs. I ain't never breaking that.
Fair enough.
Fat brain inside my head ain't gonna let that go.
There's been a few times we did, like, everybody is, the typical, turkey and stuffing and all that for Thanksgiving and Christmas hams and all that. And then there were a few times, like, see, with my grandmother before she passed away, she fought colon cancer a couple times. And then after a while, she just got tired of things. And sometimes she's like, let's do something different. So sometimes we'd have chili on Christmas, or we'd have enchilada casserole that she'd make, or lasagna even. Just to break tradition sometimes, just to do something different. We'd still have the big family dinner, everybody would come over, but we'd make something different than the norm. And it usually went over pretty well. Any of you ever done that?
For Thanksgiving this year, let's just get some pizza. Just order some pizza.
I actually did that one year because she was too sick to cook, and
Pizza shops will be closed.
my parents had to work, and I was still young and wasn't able to help cook an entire meal by myself yet. So there was one year we literally did just have pizza for Christmas because her chemo made her sick that week.
The normal tradition of eating at our house, because our grandpa was finally, like, for a little while now, been able to return home after his stroke and stuff, which the final news on it, like, after everything is 40% of his brain went kaput.
That's rough.
And it's the part that related to a little bit of speech therapy needing to be done. Because now my mom and my aunt, one of my aunts, his daughters, they understand most of his mannerisms now, but basically the entire right side of his body just, so his hand, he can't move it, his leg, he can't move it, but he's getting there. But So instead of the normal tradition of eating at our house and having everyone come over, we're gonna go up to his house and eat there.
That'll be nice, though.
And eat with him. Yeah, he can still eat and do his normal things that he would normally do perfectly fine. He can still smoke. He can still drink beer.
Probably should.
Well, gross. But
yeah, but I have my habits too.
There was one time that I went up there a little bit later because I had to drive up there myself because my sleep schedule has been out of place because of everything I've been having to take care of. And so, and essentially I'd gone up there, and normally he would be getting ready for bed like around 7 or 8 o'clock. And that was about the time I showed up. And so I gave him a surprise visit. He didn't think I was going to be there. So I made him happy then. But my mom said, oh, well, he's here. And was talking about party time. And so my mom said, all right, well, what does party time mean? It means party till you puke.
Oh, goodness. I've been guilty of that at a few events.
Me and my roommate got some alcohol, and for him, his favorite mixed drink was Jaeger bombs. So
oh God, I can't do those.
Mm-hmm. I love Jaeger. For some reason, I find it really weird because I hate black licorice, but I love Jaeger.
Fair.
You know what Jaeger
I'm the opposite.
Kind of tastes like black licorice.
I love eating licorice root and like just chewing on it and like actual licorice, but a lot of stuff like that uses anise or anise, however you want to pronounce it. So it's not actually licorice that's in it. And I actually hate that flavor. I like the flavor of licorice. The only exception being is mulling spices. I can tolerate it in mulling spices really well, and like ciders and stuff, or a pumpkin spice. But as a flavor by itself, no. I'd rather go for actual natural licorice. Actual licorice root is good for you. It has stuff that helps with your teeth to some extent. It's also good for blood sugar. Like if you are hypoglycemic or even diabetic, it can help raise your blood sugar slowly and naturally just by chewing on the root without spiking it suddenly, until you can actually get something to eat or do what you need to. There's a lot of advantages to licorice, surprisingly. But for those that don't know, I'm getting older. I'm in my late 30s. I'll be 38 next year. A lot of my family's passed away. I have no grandparents anymore. A lot of my other family I don't really see because, unfortunately, on my dad's side of the family, a couple of them are criminals. One's in jail right now. They're just really rough people, so none of us have associated with them really since that grandmother passed away from COPD complications. She was a heavy smoker. She worked for Zenith, worked around old lead-based solder back in the day, and then she also worked for 3M with the old adhesives back in the day. All that came and kind of damaged her lungs. So she had COPD even when I was a little kid, and that's what she passed away from back in 2007. After that side of the family, we just never really saw them again, with the exception of one aunt and one uncle who moved back recently nearby, and we visit with them. They're good people. And on my mom's side, everyone's passed away except for basically my mom's brother, the one that's still alive. And he moved to Mexico, and his kids just don't have anything to do with anyone. because he was a trucker, he was never there, and they have some resentment towards him, even though he's done better in recent days. I still visit with him. I even went to Mexico to see him back in 2022. But since I really don't have a lot of family, and my fiance is kind of in the same boat, his parents passed away a year ago. And his grandparents have been passed away for a long time too, because he's a year older than me. So kind of same situation. So basically, as of last year, our so-called new tradition is basically, if he's in town, he'll go with me and my parents out to eat, either the week before Thanksgiving or a few days before, because trying to go out to eat on Thanksgiving is always a nightmare. Don't recommend it. So we'll always kind of have our little dinner, and then what I've done for the last few years, and if he was able to join me for it, we would drive down to Houston with a couple of my friends that I also consider family, and we'd kind of just do things with them. That's kind of our tradition now, because we had to make our own new family. A lot of times I spend Thanksgiving on here with people too, if I can't travel.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that if I didn't have to go up there, like Discord call or whatever, and just eat some.
Exactly. So, traditions are what you make of them. It's whatever you enjoy. You don't have to do the same thing every year if you really don't want to, just because it's traditional. Do what makes you happy. Have fun.
Mm-hmm. Always do what makes you happy.
Exactly.
Unless... never mind.
As long as you're not hurting anyone else or really hurting yourself in the process, do what makes you happy. You always should try to take care of yourself, and you should always be kind to others, even if they get on your nerves. A little kindness goes a long way. Trust me, I'm guilty of being angry just as much as anyone else. But, sometimes it's better just to leave it be, and move on. So, hope you all do have a good set of holidays. Anything you guys would like to add?
I got nothing.
Well, I had one thought. And this is sort of a traditional meal, because some people do have ham on Thanksgiving. I mean, a lot of people do. Sometimes my grandmother would make both a turkey and a ham. One year I wanted to do something a little different. I still made a ham. But I went and got a half-cooked ham that had only been smoked on applewood. Hadn't been cured or anything like that, just lightly smoked on applewood. Went and did the finished cooking it, and what I did is I made an apple cider glaze. I took apple cider, cooked it down until it was real thick, almost like a molasses, and brushed that on, and then poured more fresh apple cider out of the gallon into the baking tray and just let it cook. And I just kept basting it and basting it and basting it, and it turned out absolutely delicious. It was like one of the best hams I'd ever had. Highly recommend.
I was already hungry before recording. It worked a little bit during recording. Yep. Time to go raid the kitchen.
Time to unleash the inner fat kid.
Yeah, it's not even Thanksgiving yet. Thanks.
Maybe that's an idea for Thanksgiving, though, right?
Yeah. If I remember it.
Something I've done. It's not necessarily for holiday, but it is more of a winter meal. It can be done in the summer, but it's easier to do, nicer to do in the winter. You can do it around the holidays or not. What I've made, and at least my family, they enjoyed it. And I got the recipe from my mom, which I modified a little bit, and she got it from my grandmother on my dad's side. But what it is it's just beef and noodles, but the beef is a roast that we roast in a like you could do a crock pot or something, put some water in it, and just let it sit and cook. Like make sure the roast is submerged.
I love
let
good
it
slow
sit and
roast.
cook for about 4 to 6 hours or so. Once that's pretty much cooked all the way out, you'd pull that out, and then with the broth that you have, you put in your I think it'd be carrots first, like either baby carrots or chopped up carrots. Let those start cooking because those take a little while to cook if you want to get them nice and soft. And while those are cooking, you can prep the noodles. You can pull some of the roast apart, get it all prepped and ready to go. So once the carrots are close to being done, you put the noodles in so the noodles can start cooking. And at that point, you can go ahead and put seasonings in it. I do some onion powder, a little bit of paprika, salt, pepper, and I think those are the usual spices I use.
It does sound good.
And you put the roast back in, and then you cook it on low for like another hour or so until everything's cooked. And then once it's cooked, it's a really good wintry meal. It's warm to the soul, it's warm to the body. It's one of those things I could just keep eating it and eating
Sorry,
it
my
and
phone went off.
realize I had 4 bowls of it.
And that's the sound of a fox that I worked with barking, by the way, when I worked at one was wildlife. For a lot of you that don't know, foxes can bark. It just sounds kind of funny. But so didn't mean to interrupt. My phone went off because I thought it was muted,
Fine.
and it wasn't. I'm muting it for now, though.
I mean, I guess there's other recipes that I can try from a TikToker goes by the name of B. Dylan Hollis.
Oh, his stuff is amazing. Man, I would love to try some of that at some point, but I gotta wait till I get moved in. The kitchen's not fully operational yet.
There's one recipe that from when I saw it, when he posted it, till now, I still have yet to make, and I've been begging to make it. It is called potato candy.
Okay.
I seen the one potato cake.
That actually looks pretty good.
It is one russet, skin peeled off, boil it, or chop it up and boil it, and then you mash it a little bit. You put in 8 to 10 cups of powdered sugar, and then once you get it into the consistency of a dough, you spread it flat. You take 1 whole jar of peanut butter and slather it on there, and then you roll it up and you put it in the fridge for a few hours or overnight or whatever, and you take it out and you just get these little swirls. And I've yet
I would try it
to try it and make it, but it sounds amazing.
Isn't that
the peanut butter would be good?
Like,
I wonder if you could try it.
recipes from like the 1800s?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It might be
these
good
old
with chocolate.
recipes, few of
Like a
his
chocolate icing like
episodes,
thing
and
too.
It's just like
He also
things
showed
that
how to
you
make
wouldn't think.
Because potato's
how to
just
make your
basically
own
a
cinnamon
starch,
twists.
but it's got an earthier taste than like a lot of your grains. So it'd be kind of like a potato bread. I could see a potato dough going well with a lot of different things, actually. Yeah.
Seen the video about the eggless and milkless cake.
Actually, there is
I think I saw that
my
one.
dad did get recently. That he said I didn't have a look through. He got like 9 to 10 cookbooks, like old cookbooks.
I've got a few.
And the oldest cookbook is from 1910.
Ooh, I'd love to see what's in that one. That'd be sweet.
They're all hardcover books. Honestly, they look like any other like old dusty book that you would find in a library, and it'd be like a non-fiction novel. That's just what it looks like. There's nothing fancy on it. There's no like fancy lettering or anything. It's just hardcover, pages, hardcover. A little title written on it, and that's it.
I'm gonna do like a second rendition of the cookbook that I made with my grandmother's old recipes. Some of them are really hard because they were in an old wood drawer that had drawn moisture and stuff over the years, so some of them were faded, so I wasn't able to save all of her recipes, unfortunately. Still working on recovering a few of them, using light boxes and everything to shine light through them, get as much of the writing visible as possible without damaging them further. So as I find and recover, some of her recipes, I'll add them back to the original document, and I'll make like a second version or second edition of the cookbook, and I'll add more art into it. I just wanted to get it available so that her stuff wouldn't be completely lost if something went wrong. So, but I love cookbooks though. You never know what you'll find in there. There's always a lot of rare treats that you just come across like, oh, that sounds awesome. That said, I am craving apple pie now. and my grandmother's peanut brittle.
I go raid my pantry.
I know, me too. I miss peanut brittle. Her peanut brittle was always so good. I don't know how she did it. I don't know if she brought it fully to hard crack stage, but she would get it to where it would snap and it was crisp, but you would chew on it and it was still a little chewy. It wasn't just like fully crunchy. And I loved it so much. It had this most amazing texture. Honestly, and I've never been able to have peanut brittle that nice.
Try it because I always have the fear that it'll break my teeth.
There are things you can do to make it more airy and fluffy. Like adding a little more flour or starch or something to give it a little more air. I forget which. My brain's not working. It's getting late for me. But
yeah, I feel you there.
Actually, I could find out real quick. If you'll let me do so, because I know where it's at. I have the recipe. I just have yet to make it. So it was her peanut brittle one. I know. There's a way you can make it lighter and fluffier so it won't hurt your teeth as bad. I just got to scroll down to it. That's the butternut crunch, which is also good. Those are all her brownie recipes. Simple frosting. Pecan Krispies. Lizzie's. Peanut butter pie. Chocolate cake. Pie crust. Fudge. Chocolate sheet cake. Oh, I thought it was in here. Maybe it was in a different one. I apologize. I thought I had it. Well, I think it was baking soda that you had to give it a little bit more of a fluff. But you don't want to add much. Just a tiny, tiny bit. Because you don't want it to get too fluffy.
Or as
there it is. Peanut brittle.
Hollis would say floof soda.
Yeah. Her peanut brittle was just 2 cups white sugar, 1 cup of white Caro corn syrup, half a cup of water, and you boil it into a soft ball stage. You add 2.5 cups of raw peanuts, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of butter. You stir and cook it until it's golden brown. You add a half teaspoon of vanilla at that point. 1 scant teaspoon of baking soda. Stir well and pour on a large buttered sheet and spread thin. Let cook and then break. Or let cool, sorry, and then break. My bad. I just can't read today. And if you want it to be
Wait a minute.
if you want a lighter, more airy peanut brittle, use more baking soda. So yeah, it is baking soda. That makes sense. So I actually need to fix that while I'm thinking of it. It was a typo on my part. But yeah, so you can just add a little bit more baking soda to your peanut brittle mix, and it'll make it lighter and a little bit fluffier. It'll still crisp, but it adds more air bubbles to make it break easier. So if you have bad teeth, that might be the way to go. Actually, so sorry. But yeah, what kind of desserts do you guys like for the holidays, especially like around Thanksgiving, Christmas? Since they're both coming up here in next month.
I mean, if we got it more often, cheesecake.
Cheesecake's pretty good.
Technically speaking, at least for me, and sometimes the rest of the family, the deviled eggs are considered dessert.
I can see that. They are really good. I always like my pies. A good old-fashioned apple pie, with a good crust, little homemade vanilla ice cream. Oh my goodness, excellent. And I do like my pumpkin pies. My dad always liked his chocolate cream pies real well. So, I like a good cherry pie too.
Family enjoys their pies as well. My grandma makes this weird dessert that has marshmallows in it. I don't even know what it's called.
Is it like a sweet potato dessert thing?
No, it's a bunch of Cool Whip marshmallows, and I think it has coconut in it.
Oh, I've had one of those too.
Isn't that like a marshmallow salad or whatever? Or candy salad?
Marshmallow.
Snicker salad, that's what it is.
Oh, this was like marshmallows, coconut, and whipped cream.
That does sound good.
I mean, Snicker salad is pretty much like apple slices, Miracle Whip, and then Snickers bars.
Yeah, my grandmother always made like
would most likely be the rolls.
Fair.
It'd be the rolls.
Hey, I have to agree they are good, especially if they're good sweet roll. I like sourdough rolls
with
too.
The way
Though.
they make this stuff, the pumpkin pie is okay, but the lemon pie, it's okay. Just depending on how you cook it. Sometimes it's too tangy.
See, I love the tang on a lemon pie though. My favorite pie like that is key lime though.
Some of the pies I've had, it's just like it's supposed to be like a lemon pie, but it doesn't even taste like lemon.
Yeah, I've had a few of those, and a lot of those were store-bought, unfortunately. And that's the kind of thing with apple pie, too. It's better if you can make it all from scratch. It'll always taste better. Done right.
Mm-hmm.
Buying the pumpkin fillings and stuff and making it yourself is still pretty good, but it's always good to add a little bit more seasonings, in my opinion. Everybody has their preferences, though. Pumpkin pie with a graham cracker crust instead of a normal crust is always good, too. You can do both. I've even had it with a chocolate crust. Surprisingly
good.
There's
one dessert I like. Sadly, I didn't get the recipe, and she is no longer with us.
Yeah.
But what it was a lemon fluff. That's what it was called.
Ooh, sounds delightful.
It was lemon, the lemon that was extremely fluffy. So
like a meringue?
It got, in a way, it's like in a way like a lemon pie, but the lemon contents got really, really, really fluffy.
Okay.
That's the reason why it's called lemon fluff, but I had a graham cracker graham crackers mixed in it, as well as on the crust for the crust.
That sounds good.
It was a really good dessert. And it wasn't a very overpowered lemon, but it tasted like lemon.
Man, I made a fat
And
kid's delight once.
With the graham cracker crust, it was
and
a really good thing. I wish I got the recipe from her. She told me she would give it to me years ago, but they ended up moving and I never got it, and she's no longer here. So
it's a shame.
Yeah.
Sometimes things like that happen, though. You might be able to search and find something similar, though. You never know.
It was her own custom recipe.
I'm gonna have to try to make this again sometime because it was completely accidental. It was one of those things, like, I was bored, I was with some friends, I had my 6-quart cast iron Dutch oven, and we had some apple pie mix, but we had like 1 can of the cinnamon apple pie mix and a couple of cans of the caramel apple pie mix. And we had a chocolate crust and a bunch of graham crackers. So what we did is, instead of making a pie, we made a cobbler. But it was cooked in my 6-quart Dutch oven. So it got nice and hot, caramelized, all the apples, and the caramel in it got real thick. The cinnamon mixed in. And so we crumbled up the chocolate crust on the bottom. And then we put all the pie filling in it, mixed it all together in a pot first with, so it'd get a nice consistency between the cinnamon and the caramel. Poured all that in there. And then the whole top was layered with just graham crackers. Crumbled up graham crackers. And we just baked it in that cast iron with hot coals on the lid and a few hot coals on the bottom. Just let her set until the coals went out. Came back out there. Absolutely fucking delicious. As for how stupidly simple it was and how weird it sounds, it was excellent. And I want to do it again.
I'm surprised you said it was a recipe on accident, so it was just like, as soon as you said that, I was like, well, that's gonna be fun to try and remake. And then you just said it step by step. I was like, never mind.
You got a call? You alright?
I'm gonna need a minute.
No worries.
I'm gonna need a minute.
We're about done, anywho. But yeah. So, another accidental thing that sounds nasty, that was better than it had any right to be, was during this ice storm years ago. It was 2007 ice storm, actually, here in Springfield area. Back when I was going to OTC, I was more local to the area instead of being out in the middle of nowhere again. Ugh. I like the country, don't get me wrong. In fact, the area I'm at now is getting too big and I kind of want to go where it's quieter. But I like nature, I like stars, but I like to fish too. But anyway, back in the area of Springfield at the time, I lost my train of thought. Damn ADHD, I swear. Oh, we had that ice storm, and I was staying with some friends, and power was out in a lot of places. Somehow their house was one of like 3 on the street that still had power, at least at the time, and everything was closed. Couldn't go anywhere. The roads were way too slick. Power lines down, trees down. You really couldn't go anywhere. And we were low on food, a little bit. And we were debating what to make. Had a bunch of cans of tuna, bunch of taco shells, bunch of taco seasoning, and lettuce, and cheese. No other meats in the house. So, I just took the cans of tuna, dumped a little bit of the water out, plopped them in a skillet, fried up the tuna with some taco seasoning, and got it a little dry so it wouldn't make the shells real soggy. Baked the shells real quick, got them warm, threw them in there with the lettuce and cheese, and they were surprisingly decent. Like, I wouldn't say it was a favorite, but you would think it'd be nasty. But they actually tasted halfway good, because, I don't know, they do say tuna is the chicken of the sea, and it took the seasoning really well. We did season it a little heavy. I mean, yeah, it still had a little bit of a tuna taste, but it wasn't terrible. I thought it'd be gross, but it's literally what we had. It was eat that or wait until the next day, and hopefully one of the stores would be back open on generators or something. Because it'd already been like 2 or 3 days. Then we lost power the next day because we had another small ice storm come through, and that tree finally fell on the power line that went to the house. Ripped the pole off the top of the house, but...
Damn.
And then thankfully I had a Coleman stove, so we were still able to cook on the Coleman stove. That was a fun winter. Power was out at my parents' house for 2.5 weeks.
Damn.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I'm good.
Alright, as long as everything's okay. Well, I think on that note, we should probably bid you all farewell until the next episode. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Because at this rate, I'm just going to get more hungry, which will eventually turn into being hangry.
Should I make...
And I don't want to be that. And then...
Should I make Vermont...
So you can get some...
That's the question, though. Should I make Vermont cheddar, mac and cheese? Or should I have Salisbury steak and potatoes? Or should I have lemon pepper tuna and jasmine rice?
I know what you're doing. Hush your lips. I know what you're doing.
Salmon, grilled steak, ribs.
You too.
Oh, I just had a great idea.
Pork.
I don't want to say this because I don't know if anyone's done this. That reminds me. If you made it this far in the video, feel free to comment and leave a comment about what kind of traditions you all have, or if you like breaking tradition. If you're not from the States, what kind of stuff do you do around November? Do you have any traditions or holidays that vary based on where you're at? Because I know Thanksgiving's specific to the U.S., pretty much. So, you have anything around this time of year that you guys do? Let us know. We'd love to hear. But I had an idea. Instead of like the traditional turkey, what if you basted and glazed it with a garlic butter and almost made it like in the same type of marinade or sauce you would use for garlic parmesan wings? What if you made a garlic parmesan turkey? The whole turkey. I think that'd be delicious.
Are you trying to make me angry right now?
Hey, I've made a lemon pepper turkey.
Ooh, lemon pepper.
I think another time I might make 2 turkeys if I ever have like a group of friends ever just come visit during the holidays. I'll make like a lemon pepper turkey that's bacon layered, and then also do the garlic parmesan turkey.
If you want me to, I'll leave right now so I can go get some damn food.
I'm sorry. But anyway, do you guys think that would be good, though?
Steak.
Probably.
Garlic crusted T-bone steak. Garlic and chive crusted T-bone steak. Anyway.
I'm gonna start pulling my ears if you're gonna keep naming food.
Buttery, cheesy garlic bread.
Stuffed
crust off pizza.
Okay, I'm hungry. On that note, I guess we'll see you all in the next episode before we torture ourselves more.
Oh, I see how it is. I see how it is. I'm starting to get hungry. Y'all are just naming off food to get me feeling even more hungry. I'm telling you guys to shut up. No, let's just keep it running. As soon as you get hungry, though, alright, it's time to go.
I mean, you can bite it, but
Man.
it probably don't taste that good. kinda
Garlic
bitter.
and chive. Mashed taters is good too with
Alright.
turkey gravy.
Alright.
Grilled corn on the grill.
Cajun grilled corn.
Constantly buttered.
Alright.
Baked
Cajun
potatoes,
hominy.
Meat-topped baked potatoes.
I was literally about to leave. I started putting my controllers down. I was gonna start taking off my headset and then taking off my VR. And
We
going to get
love
some food.
you. We're just giving you ideas for the holidays.
I think we are.
Yeah, and making me hungry at the minute.
But I'm cute, fluffy, and innocent.
Uh-huh.
But no.
Leave whatever you want.
For those of you that will be traveling for the holidays coming up, please be safe. We want to see you in the next video. And yeah. Anything you would like to add is say farewell for the week.
Hey, he's got food on the
What'd you
Go.
say?
Go raid the pantry.
Shut up. Oh, I am.
Crack.
Oh, wait, no.
Carne asada al
Solve
pastor
this right now.
tacos. Shrimp fajitas.
I can solve this right now. Open up the arm of my chair, reach down here, and lots of Pop-Tarts.
Hey,
Right
what
next to
kind?
me.
What kind?
S'mores.
Those are good. Those are good. I like the cherry and strawberry really well. I like
I haven't had
sometimes
those in a while, actually. I would miss
hard.
those.
where I'm at, it's hard to find the blueberry ones, but when you do find them, yum.
Weird food. Pop-Tarts. You know how Pop-Tarts have all those flavors and things?
Mhm.
I found one that was Eggo syrup, like waffle syrup, waffles and syrup, Pop-Tart.
I'd try it.
I mean, that's not super weird.
I'd try it.
It was extremely sweet.
You know what I...
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
You know what what me and my roommate found recently when we went grocery shopping for the family? We found some waffles that are Fruity Pebbles waffles.
Huh.
Like there's Fruity Pebbles in the waffles.
I would also try that. I like my waffles
We have
malted.
yet to open the box and try them, but
Let me know how they are.
meanwhile, while you two are actually hungry, I'm just gonna put this Pop-Tart in my mouth.
Oh, that's just nasty.
Hey,
Don't joke.
it's your guys' fault. I forgot I had some Pop-Tarts, but I solved it. You
Well, I'm
two
gonna
need
have
to
me
go
some-
and watch and get food.
I'm gonna have some lemon
I
pepper
can just
tuna
open
and
up my
jasmine
Pop-Tarts.
rice. Yum, yum, yum. Anyway.
Hey, I got food in my mouth right now. I got s'mores. I'm happy. You can try all you
Speaking
might
of s'mores, if you ever
I'm
get the
fine.
chance to make traditional s'mores again, instead of normal milk chocolate, try the cookies and cream Hershey's instead of the chocolate ones. It's surprisingly good.
I think I did one better
I do it
recently.
differently.
Instead of chocolate, put a Reese's peanut butter cup on it.
Also good.
You gotta do it right. You gotta catch the marshmallow on fire, blow it out, and then just tasty.
I've done that a lot too.
I don't like mine charred.
I do.
like mine golden
As
brown.
long as you don't
I'm
try
gonna
to eat
eat-
it while it's still on fire.
I like mine charred, and I'm going to continue to eat those carcinogens because you only live once, right? YOLO. Okay, I went there.
I'm gonna enjoy my s'mores Pop-Tart and just be done with that.
Love you all.
Hey,
Anyway,
don't
we'll
forget to
see you in
breathe.
the next video.
We love all of you. Discord will be down in the description. Remember to leave a comment and that you made it all the way to the end or to prove it. And your what your tradition is, or if you've broken tradition.
Food.
Yeah, we can add that on there.
Weirdest food.
And like your no, that was
That was a while
already
ago.
like yeah. That was already in like previous episode kind of thing. Like
No,
there was
okay.
just, but we love all of you. Obviously, I already have food. There's Pop-Tart sitting right here, so they need to go get food. She needs it for meds. He just needs it because, well, now he's hungry thanks to this episode.
Yeah, that's 2 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, same time zone. But so, we love all of you. Some of our socials will be down below. Discord will be down there. You can join, and there's a little section for giving us topic ideas, or just to hang out and chat with us, or if we happen to get to know you decently well enough. I don't know. Maybe you could be on an episode.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's plausible.
I just thought of that now. That could
Don't
be
you
in
mean
the
it's
future.
possible?
Possible.
Yeah,
Don't start.
simple.
But
How many of you had to
we
pause
love you.
for thought on that one?
No.
Speaking of rolls
Anyways.
earlier, I'm on a roll right now. What if it's sourdough?
Ignore her. We love all of you. Stay safe this time of year. We would love to see you on the next episode.
I
Don't worry.
eat
Be furry.
people.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, have a bit of a time.